Once you've edited all your video and your other assets together and you're happy with the result, you need to export it so that you can share it with others. And so I'm going to show you the way to do it. This is on the most recent version in spring 2023, the most recent version of Premiere Pro. So here I have a little video that I edited together, and I'm ready to export it. And what I need to do is make sure first that the timeline is selected with the blue around it. And then I'm going to either go up here and say File, Export Media, or you can just, once you do this for a while, you can just start using the keystroke Command M. So that's what we're going to do. And when we do this, this window comes up. It's kind of confusing. There's a lot of stuff going on, but I'm going to just walk you through it. I'm actually going to start on the right side. Over here, you'll see your whole video, and you want to make sure that the range is correct. Sometimes if you put some people put like extra stuff after the end of their video that they're thinking they might use and then they don't end up use. So you got to make sure if you've done that, that you set ins and outs on your timeline of only the part you want exported. It's not, I used to do that, but I got out of the habit of doing that because what happens is everything up until the last thing in the timeline gets exported. And if you have something way out there, I have seen students export up to like 10 minutes of extra just black screen. It's not what you want. So if you do have stuff like that, either put ins and outs. Work area is a little more tricky. You can just put in and out points on the timeline, but again, the best bet is just not put anything over there, and then just say enter, and it defaults to entire source. And then just make sure that this time right here looks to be about what you expect, right? So if you're doing a 30-second video commercial with a 10-second slate on the end, you know that's supposed to be 40 seconds, right? So just be aware of that. All right. This one right here is it's almost 1080. It's a little more than 1080. It's because it's like in a letterbox format, which is fine. That's the source. That's what came in. Output, I'm just going to put it out at a regular 1080p. This one's also at 25 frames per second. That's that film rate that softens it and makes it look more like film. So I'm going to match that over here. Pretty much I'm not going to do anything over here. You can change this stuff, and I'll show you how to do that, but pretty much you always want to output what you've input. Now, an exception to that is if maybe you shot things in 4K, but you don't want to export them at 4K. Like for this class, it has to be in 1080 at this point. So you would have to change things. And the way you do that is you come up here. Now, I did not rename my sequence, so it still says the name of one of these video clips that I used from Pexel. So I'm going to rename that. And I'm just going to rename it Summer Camp. So when it exports it, it'll export it as summercamp.mp4. Make sure that you put it you save it where you want. Very often it will default into an Adobe application folder, and then you can't find the video. So make sure that you do pick a place, and usually I export it in the same folder where I have all the rest of my assets. That way I know where it is. I am going to always want to pick a preset that makes sense. If you are going to upload it to Vimeo or YouTube or anything like that, there are sequences for that. If they don't appear here, the YouTube ones are here. So if I was going to do YouTube, I want it exporting as 1080, I would pick that one. If I wanted Vimeo and it didn't show up here, all I have to do is down here you can click more presets, and all of them, like a jillion of them, show up here. You can just type if you wanted Vimeo, there they are, right? So I'm going to say okay, and it put it up here. When you are exporting things to show on the internet, no matter where you're going to put them, whether you're going to put them on Instagram or anything like that, the format that we are using commonly now is this H.264. These other ones are for different things. You know, later on, if you want to experiment more, you can try those out. Now, if you leave all the rest of these in their default position, you're going to be fine. So that's all I'm going to show you about that. Other things I could show you. Well, first of all, if this is all good for you and you're ready to export, you can just click the export button. This other button called Send to Media Encoder, I will show you that in 1 second. But before I do that, over here on the left-hand side, you will see ways that this can be exported. So I know I went over here and picked Vimeo, but if I wanted to, I could turn this Vimeo on, and then this new little section shows up, and it allows me to name it, to give a description, and do some other things, but I first have to sign in to Vimeo. So if I sign in and I turn that on, not only will it make a media file and download it to my computer, or create it in my computer, it will automatically upload it to Vimeo. Same with YouTube, Twitter, and all the rest of these. I'm going to turn that off because I don't want to. It's actually a really cool and fast thing. If you do use that, you should always go and check and make sure it uploaded right. Don't just assume that you set this to upload to your YouTube and everything's hunky-dory. You always should check. You should always check every time you upload a video to anything. Check it, watch it through, make sure it's all there the way you want, in case you need to re-upload it. Alright, so I'm just going to go ahead and export, and it will render it, and rendering just means all the files are sort of getting squished together. This is not a long video, so it's not going to take too long, so we'll just kind of wait it out here. So now it's telling me, yep, it's done. Let's go see if I can find it on my computer. Where did I put that? I put, oh gosh, now I can't find it. See, that's where you have to be careful, so you know where things got put to. Let's do this. There we go, it's up there, and there it is. This is the one I just exported. So there it is, and then I could play it. Okay, so that's one thing. You can go ahead and export it that way. I'm going to go ahead and use my Command M again, and then I'm going to use this Export to Media encoder. I'm going to go back up here. Yes, and I'm going to leave everything set. But the cool thing is, if I send it to Media Encoder is actually a separate application. It is part of the Creative Cloud, and what it does is it allows you to not only export your video in whatever format you need it, but it lets you create alternate exports all at the same time without having to do them one at a time. So we're going to let this guy open up too. Taking a second. Everything has to be verified these days with the subscriptions. And I'm probably going to have to make it a little bit smaller so it fits in the screen. It's still loading. It's a very cool application, but it's also very memory and power hungry. So, and we do say that's okay. And here it is. It's still opening. So, alright, so once Media Encoder gets open, let me make this a little smaller so it fits in the same space so you can see it all. You'll see what you had in the settings of the export window in Premiere. Now the cool thing is you can highlight that and just do a right click and tell it to duplicate. And then you're like, yeah, I'm not sure if I'm going to use it for Vimeo. I might want to use it on YouTube. So then you can go ahead and set one of these. You can't see it on your thing, but I'm going to pick YouTube 1080. And then you might say, yeah, you know what? I think I also might want to put it on Instagram. So you can duplicate it again, and I think there's an Instagram. Oh, maybe there's not. There's Twitter. Let's just say Twitter. There we go. And so now I have 3 different formats that can be created for 3 different things. If I select all of those, all I have to do is push the start queue, and they will one by one start creating and saving them to wherever I want. And you know, I can go in here and change that, fix the name because I didn't fix the name on it, and everything's great. All right, so I'm not going to do that, but that's how you export. Get that closed, and we'll go back to Premiere. Just the big things are, remember, it's Command M for media, and then pick the appropriate presets to export it.